Yeah, huge
Right.
guy.
Okay, so we have a few people that join us already, and some more will be joining us in a minute. But anyway, let's start because I'm sure you're busy man. You must have other things to do. So thanks for that. Thanks for taking the time to talking to us. Can you hear me? Okay.
Just a second. יובל, תישאר בסביבה.
אני בבית.
Right. Yes, I'm with you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Excellent. All right. So once again, yeah, thanks for the interview. I kept interviewing people. I started with a friend. There's just an idea. We've been teaching Krav Maga online for the last few weeks. As you imagine, everyone around the world is doing something online now.
Yeah.
And so I thought I will send you a message because I haven't managed to talk to you in so long. I think the last time we met was back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I was with Heath Levitt from Holland.
Yeah.
And we met somewhere close to where you live, had a coffee very briefly.
Yeah.
And then the other times that I've been back to Israel, I never had a chance to meet you because I was too busy. And last time was with the Corona situation. I had to come back almost a day before.
By the way, I heard that your prime minister get well, so congratulations.
Well, I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but for sure we'll see you later. We will tell you in 5 years' time if it's a good idea or not.
Yeah. Okay.
But how are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay.
Are you guys also confined at home, not going anywhere?
In the kibbutz, it's very easy because I'm also in agriculture, so I'm all day on a tractor. I will send you later a little movie about what I'm doing all day.
You told me the story a while back about you working with with the kibbutz and with tractors, but it's very hard for me to understand that because I know one side of you, which is the IDF, the Krav Maga, and to find out about you as the guy who works in a tractor is.
Listen, Joe, there is only one way to hold the ground. Only one way.
One way, which is
to work on it. To work on it. To be there.
Well, okay, that's a good point.
It's amazing. It's amazing how much strong and consistent is the pressure of the opposition.
Right.
You know who?
Yeah, you know who.
That we have here in Israel, and they are doing it naturally. It's not. They are not trying.
Right.
They are already there, and they are pressing all the time.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to do the work, and they're not enemies. They're civilians. But they are trying all the time with the goats and with the cows. And they are all the time in the territory, in the field with the cars and looking all the time.
Oh, really?
Wow. It's a constant pressure all the time. And if you a little bit make it weaker from your side,
then
they are in immediately.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. It's crazy.
All the time, yeah.
And which part of it exactly, if you look at the north, if you go north of Haifa and then Netanya,
I'm between very close to Accra.
Yeah.
Very close, and after Haifa, northern, then Haifa.
Oh, okay.
On the valley between Haifa and Akko.
Okay, I've got a little map here, so I'm gonna have a look later. one of my many maps. Okay, nice one. Can you tell us a little bit more? I mean, because I had a chance to meet you and back in 2002 when I attended my instructor's course in Netanya.
Yeah.
And at the time, you still in charge of Krav Maga in the IDF, and you I don't know if you stay based at Wingate Institute, the little military base they have there, because that's where I met you.
Yeah. This is the place that Danny, Danny, my successor.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Is sitting on in, it's Wingate still, Badge 8, school number 8 of the army.
Okay.
So that is my place of reserve that I am there. I have to come there and sign once a year or something like that. So I'm doing a reserve.
Okay.
Reserve service. And Danny wants me to check all the basic training. After the basic training, they have to get to some level.
Right.
And this level, we made some kind of exam, and I'm doing this exam.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to send you the exam, but it's a very nice exam to see. It's with weapons, of course, and army suits. And
wow, now you made me think about it. I'm salivating here already.
Yeah.
Tasting, but I cannot have it.
I cannot. But imagine those movies that I send you, that what happened in the territories.
Yes.
It's almost the same. So we are trying to make the same situations in our exams. So it's a weapon snatch, and it's a defense against knife from every direction, and the weapon is on you.
Defending against a car attack also?
Against what?
A car. When the car drives you with a car, trying to kill you with a car. That was a crazy one, eh?
Yes, but it's okay because they work exactly the same.
Wow.
Because from our point of view, the exercise of Krav Maga, yes, the exercise,
yeah,
is only best way for the one that is training to go in the room, let's say, allegorically.
Okay.
To be there.
To be involved.
And now it's an easy way, the easiest way to be there, to start working. That's why it's not important the level of how good you are doing the exercise.
Right, right.
But it's the way of the instructor. She shows you the room. Now be there, and because you are in the right room, it will be okay.
So yeah, this is the exercise you guys developed. So you're trying to recreate the scenarios and train soldiers based on live events, if you like it.
Exactly. We look at the cameras and we know what to do. You know which exercise is relevant for us. Yes.
Okay, but can I take you back one little bit? Can we go back? I want to divide this in 3 phases if we can. The first phase is you before the army. One phase is you in the army, and then the one is you after the army. Can we talk about this? Can we go back to before the army?
Go.
So you started Krav Maga in what, 83 or something like that?
I was released from the army in 84. 84.
Yeah.
I released from the army from regular time, and I was in some kind of intelligence stuff.
Right.
Yes. Sometime too much, very, very interesting.
I can imagine.
Amazingly interesting.
I can imagine. Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna wait for the book to come one day, or the movie, and then
it will be no. It won't be on in any book. It's okay.
Okay. At least we tried. At least we tried. But before you joined the army, your life was pretty much where? You lived in Israel all the time? You were born in Israel?
Yes, I born in Israel, third or second generation. Yes, second generation. My father is from Israel.
Okay.
My grandfather was coming from area that I think now is Poland, but it was no, it was Russian, but now it's Poland.
The fence moved a little bit. The fence moved from left to right.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, stuff like that. And my mother is from Transylvania, which is in Romania, but is Hungarian. Yes. So I'm Hungarian, and my grandmother from the father side is Berlin.
Wow.
German. So I am German Poland one side. The other side is Hungarian.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of people and a lot of places to visit like that. Phenomenal. And then of course when you joined the army, did you train any martial arts before you joined the army, before the 18?
I was training throwing heavy stuff, meaning hammer throw and discus throw.
Yes.
And I was a lot under weights. I did a lot of weights training. It was very strong.
Yeah.
I tried to be a pilot.
Okay.
And I was already, let's say, in the 10th of the course.
Wow.
Yes, but they found something in the eyesight, and they said to me, "Listen, you will be connected to the Air Force, but not in the airplane."
Right.
So what I did is intelligence of the Air Force.
Right. Wow.
Because Air Force, if you are belong to them, they keep you.
Okay.
Clever guys. Yes.
Very interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, at almost the end of the when I was serving, it was war of Lebanon.
Okay.
And after the war, which we did a lot there, but after the war, it was so boring, nothing happens. You know, you are climbing on the walls because...
Nothing happened.
So I took, on the last year, I took a leave for agricultural reasons. There is this thing, and I work in the fields. I think it was putting in the field irrigation after you plant cotton.
Okay, wow.
And many people came to help me from army and a few more friends. Also boring after one is gunman and one is engineering, and we all climbing on walls because nothing to do.
Wow.
And Shimon was there also.
Shimon was there.
Yes. And we talk about, you know, you have time. You put in the pipes, and then you wait for another wagon of pipes to come. So you have time. So I asked him, like, you know, big guy, very cocky. And I asked him, what you do, Shimon? What you are a kibbutz member? What? And he talked about this, and he was also in the business of water. In the kibbutz. Yeah. And he said Krav Maga. Oh, my ears popped like that. It. And I asked him, what, Krav Maga? And from some reason, he showed me a front roll on the field, on the dirt.
Spot. Oh, fantastic.
I think because he saw that I'm a big guy, that didn't want to show me a bit of hand-to-hand combat. I don't know. But he showed me rolling.
Something more easier.
Yes, let's be on the safe side. Anyway, he showed me rolling, and that's it. The rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is pretty much as I say.
Yes. Wow. And then Eyal was working in the kibbutz, instructing there.
Right.
It was like Shimon's place, but Eyal was preparing Shimon to black belt. Yes, under Imi.
Wow.
Shimon was very close to Imi. Shimon was having 1 year, full year in the center of Israel, not in kibbutz, and he was with Elia Vigzar, okay, and Imi and Chaim Zut.
Right. Yeah. Joel.
Training.
We have a Chaim Zut student here listening to this.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so I came to practice with Eyal and you know, and hooked in very strongly. So I understand I want to do that.
Right.
After the army. So it's from 84.
Yeah.
84. I was in the army 81 to 84, 3 years.
Okay.
Then I released from the army, and I was from 84 doing Krav Maga almost non-stop. And in 6 years, I did black belt.
Okay.
And of course, Imi saw me all the time on the big meetings that we have, Krav Maga, and on the texts, everything like that. And then in, I think, about 80, maybe 7, maybe 8, I became black belt.
Right.
And a few years after that, Elia Vigzar was the head of the Krav Maga, having some problem in Wingate.
Okay.
Because he was opening his own club, and it was not okay with the army that you work and, you know.
Yeah.
So he thought that he can try to win the army, and the army was...
Say no, thank you.
No, thank you. And then Imi was like recommend me to the army, and Imi was with very strong name, of course, in the army, in Bat Shmone, in Wingate. And so that's it. They come to me, and I said, of course, immediately. And that's it.
So you held that position for almost 20 years, 18, 19 years.
Yes. From 98,
yeah,
until 2007.
Wow.
And then immediately to Hungary. And in this situation until 2010.
Right.
So from 7 to 10, 2000, I was in Hungary, doing this, working with KMG, with Eyal, and coming to you from time to time.
Yeah.
And then I got back to the kibbutz.
You worked with the doctor, what's his name? Hungarian. His wife is Hungarian.
Tal.
Tal, of course it's Tal. I
Yes.
had a brain freeze here.
Tal was my student in Krav Maga in the army.
Wow.
As a soldier, he make a course and I was his commander.
Right.
So we knew each other.
You had like almost 20 years of teaching. If every year you run a course, you have like generations and generations and more generations.
Every year, 6 courses, Joe.
How many?
Every year, 6 courses for 20 years.
6 courses every year, not just one. My God.
This was only Krav Maga instructor for boys. There were also a big project of Krav Maga for women.
Right.
They were Krav Maga instructor for youth in the age of 16, about.
Right.
In the 8th grade, I think it was. No, 12.
Well, I don't know because my head is mixed up with the grades in Brazil, the grades in England. I don't even know exactly what happened there. Yeah, but I understand. Wow. So you had I mean, if you had to put everybody together in a sports hall, you have a lot of people sitting there, coming back and say, I became an instructor were you there?
Yeah.
Were you there?
A lot. Wow. Thousands of people.
Fantastic. And how do you see, I mean, the development of Krav Maga from when you joined the army? Because I remember the first time I saw was like an article, had some pictures. It was like Eyal, Gavino, Aminondas defending against a hand grenade or something in Netanya. Because I remember the place. I recognized the place when I went there. Yeah. So that was the first time I saw something with the IKMF logo on it. And I kept that for many years. And then eventually I met you, and then I started meeting more people. And how do you see, because back then Krav Maga was completely unknown. Nobody knew Krav Maga. It was this thing small. So today it's became too big that even the Israeli army wants to move away from Krav Maga, want to call it something else, isn't it?
No. But what happened, what's going on in the army, in Israeli army, doesn't have any connection with the companies that came abroad.
Oh, the civilian Krav Maga, yes, for sure.
Yes, because in Israel it's very common that you have a civilian company in every direction, in everything, because Israelis like very much to make companies in computers.
Yeah, you can say that. I'm glad you said that, because if it was me, people would be criticizing me, but you say that. So, okay, carry on.
No, so the army is not even watching and looking for these companies. Right. No interest, because we know our job.
Okay.
And we know that we are the best of analyzing what we need.
Right.
And we know that the army, the IDF knows exactly what is his problems, and nobody else is IDF.
Okay.
So nobody else can know what to do with the IDF, because he don't know, only veterans of the IDF can easily understand what to do with IDF.
Right. Okay. I understand. And the other side that from this is that not everyone that opened a company in Israel that sells Krav Maga abroad actually understands about the army or been to the army. As we know, some of them are civilians. They had 2 or 3 years in the army. They left.
It's exactly the opposite, because if you look at basic marketing, is to know the needs of the customer.
Right.
And who is your customers? And for example, Krav Maga, you need to make it as short as possible. If you can do something without lesson, it's better. If you must do one lesson, so do one lesson.
Right.
So, and we know how to teach Krav Maga almost without lesson, 16 hours. Listen, it's nothing. And it's enough to win against those terrorists, as you saw.
Right.
Okay. It's enough. And for example, get-ups. in the civilian Krav Maga in the companies, it's a huge subject. Get-ups.
Yeah, it is.
And in the army, you shout, get up, get up, get up.
Otherwise, you're gonna
End
die.
of story. End of story. End of lesson. There is no lesson about get-ups at all.
Right.
You shout at him 3 times, better 3 than 4, or than 2. Yes. And you shout at him, get up, get up, get up, and he is getting up.
That's it.
Even if somebody is sitting on him. And that's it.
Yeah, that's the beauty when you're dealing with soldiers, isn't it? You just shout and then they...
And attack. You hold the weapon and you tell him to attack with the weapon. Very strong punch. And first punch in his life. First punch.
Right.
It's not possible from any Krav Maga in the best of you.
Yeah.
He cannot observe it. It's good enough.
Right.
Okay?
Wow, yeah.
Kick of football with the army shoe between the legs.
That's it.
How many lessons do you have to do? That's it. Yes.
One's enough, yeah, exactly.
And when I want to teach, for example, straight punch, yes, forward straight punch. You see the hand? Yes.
Yeah.
So I make them do, a group of guys do push-ups, and then I tell them, look, the area that is red, the push-ups.
Yeah, you're hitting the head.
That's the area with you hit. You hit on the center mass of the head. The same place that you shoot. No, center mass.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if he's looking at your friend. So his center mass is different.
Oh yeah, you can be here, can be here.
Yes. The center mass is center mass. If he's helping a friend, so center mass is behind.
Right.
So center mass, attack, that's it.
Boom.
Same attack. We do push-up, your hand is here. So same move. And we do it, our interest is to shorten the time. So if you try to do our interest, you'll be bankrupt immediately.
I will have one lesson, 5 students. That's it.
Yes.
Off you go now. Don't need to see you again.
Yes. So our interest is different.
Yeah.
We want to make it very short. Sometimes Danny sends me. I'm checking all the units after they do basic training. All the fighters of the ground, the infantry. That is my main job. But from time to time, he has to send me to Golan Heights because I'm close, I'm on the north.
Right.
So Golan Heights to prepare soldiers for tomorrow to go to a blockades in the territories.
Wow.
So I do for them one lesson from 8 o'clock evening to 10 o'clock evening, maybe 11 o'clock.
That's it.
And that's it. And it's amazing, it's very easy because it's Krav Maga. Everything is natural.
See, this is
360. I never teach.
This is the kind of stuff that I wish I could be a fly to be in a corner watching this 2-hour session because I will learn more from that than the whole career.
I give, but you cannot live from that.
Yeah, no, I know, but if I can,
if you decide
on top of what I already know, that would be amazing, huh?
Yeah. If for and I give them a knife from rubber. We have, of course, logistic support because every place in the army, there is a combat fitness officer, usually a woman.
Right.
And she is already Krav Maga from her. When we build her, we teach her Krav Maga.
Okay.
And on her shade, there is a lot of Krav Maga equipment.
Okay.
So when I go to this,
she's in charge of all the equipment.
Yeah.
You just have 20 knives, 20 rifles, and
that's it. And then I start the lesson, and I don't show anything. We just show the problem, the attack, and that's it. And we start to practice.
It's phenomenal.
And we got very fast to situations where it's almost copy paste the situation that I sent you in the movies. Because they are wild guys. They don't have education.
Right.
They're wild guys, and they know that tomorrow they are going to be there.
Right.
And it's very easy to teach, but my aim, I use things that are already exist.
Right. Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question. When I met you in 2009 in Poland, we went to Krakow. Remember that military course that you run and the law enforcement course together?
Yeah.
So we were there training, which was okay. And then at one stage, I asked you a question about something. We are standing right in the middle of this sports hall. A lot of people training on the left-hand side. And then we had some equipment on the right-hand side. So one of the students came running past us, okay? And he grabbed a knife in the corner and he came back running with his knife in his hand like this. And then you, out of the blue, kicked this guy in the arm so hard. Bow! The knife touched the ceiling of the sports hall. The guy was on the floor. Everybody stepped back thinking, what the hell was that? And then you said, well, I saw the guy running with a knife and I attacked him. I dealt with it. So that motion, that move of yours, that action of yours taught me more on that lesson than the whole military course, the special weapons and tactics and everything.
Why, what do you think, why did I do that?
Why did you do that? Because
yes.
you're switched on, your awareness was out of the extraordinary. You're looking at it, you're scanning.
But what is the principle? What is the idea?
Well, I guess the idea was to show that you could hit the attacker that I wasn't expecting you hit him like that, or because you switched on, or I don't know. It's tricky to come up with some kind of a solution because you're going to tell me something different, I'm sure.
I tell you. The thing is, how can you react always? You have to react always.
You need to be switched on. You need to be in a yellow code all the time.
Yes. If you are thinking, what should I do now? No.
Finished, yeah.
Decide what is your best motion and start do it. Okay. All your life. It's always, if some student are playing with the knife, he get kicked.
Wow.
Yes, because I want to educate myself.
Right.
And on the process, I show them the idea of react always.
Right.
You cannot. What you do when you in the streets of London?
Oh yeah. Well, we have.
Yes, and you drink coffee some place.
Yeah.
Suddenly you see somebody 15 yards from you, or maybe 20.
Okay.
With a knife, big one, not the shawarma seller.
Not the shawarma one, yeah.
No, some guy walks in the street.
The knife this big.
What you do?
In my case.
What you do? Yes.
If it's far away, I'll probably run the opposite direction.
But you immediately act.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Immediately act.
There's no waiting, no thinking about it. Just do it.
No. Yes. So you open range, or you defend your family. So you cannot open range, maybe.
So yeah, that day, I mean, I went home with my eyes open. I mean, I've learned so much from that. I'm sure the guy who got kicked in the arm will never forget that one too. But then we had a grading after, because at the end of the course, some of the guys were there for gradings and stuff. And they had like a group of 5 or something. And then I said, oh, let me volunteer to grade with you, because after this, I need to get involved because you were one of the examiners there. So
I'm sorry. 5 hours. I'm sorry, because when I was there, basically I was under a KMG curriculum.
Yeah.
So I was I wanted to see what it's all about.
Right.
What is this working with guys? I knew that I'm going to be 3 years abroad, and then I come to Israel.
Right.
Because I have to be maximum 3 years. If not, I will lose my house at the kibbutz.
Okay.
I have to leave the kibbutz. I can leave the kibbutz, no problem. But then I lose my house, and it's something that I can inherit to my kids.
Sure,
I don't want it. I want them to decide if they want kibbutznik or not.
Right.
To be kibbutznik. So anyway, 3 years, I knew all the time that I have only 3 years. And I was almost certain that after that I will be connected to the Krav Maga in the army.
Okay.
And I saw what I saw in the civilian companies. Okay.
Yeah.
I prefer the army.
Wow. What a shame, huh?
Yes. For me, it was obvious. For me, it was obvious. It's much better because listen, my grandfather was driving in the Caterpillar.
Right.
That was towing on a big lorry the how do you say, when something is very tall, and on the top there is guard.
Oh, like a tower. Yeah, tower.
Yes, the tower.
Yeah.
He was pulling the tower of the kibbutz, getting on the ground.
Wow.
In I think it was in 37, basically much before the Israel even rose.
Yeah, that was a while back. Yeah.
So I'm very like patriotic.
I can imagine. Yeah. Wow.
Yes,
Especially
yes,
with 20 years in the army. And
yes.
so
So for me, it was obvious that I'm going to be in Krav Maga, but in the army more than in the civilian.
But are you still operating in the army? Are you still going there as a consultant, if you like, and helping those guys?
I'm checking the every unit of the infantry, meaning the parachuters,
Right.
and Golani and Givati, if you know these names.
Yeah, some of the names.
All the guys. There is about 6 big not brigades, maybe brigades.
Okay.
Brigade is good, maybe.
Wow.
About 2,000 people.
Brigade is like companies together, 4 or 5 companies, isn't it? Become a brigade.
That's it. So one brigade is the parachuter guys,
Right.
and one is the brown heads.
Okay.
Many of them like that. So every about 3 or 4 months, I go night after night after night after night, and we check them in the morning, and we do these exams, which I cannot show you.
Right.
Unless Danny said to me, okay, Shachar, you can send for him one exam.
All right. Let me get on the phone and call Danny right now. Hello.
Yeah, that's it. So you have your own intelligence mission.
Yeah, I've got my man inside the Israeli army.
Yeah. And we just examine them, and I give the results, and I write for myself, and I do very interesting, like a long lesson.
Right.
Is the Krav Maga instructors of the units after the exam. Now they are running the exam. I'm just watching and give the grades.
Right. Okay.
They are running it.
Well,
So
you're the examiner of the examiners.
yes. And after that, we have about 2 hours of it's like it's a lesson, because I teach them all the mistakes they do. I teach them how to correct it,
Right.
and what is the problems in the instructing that they have,
Right.
how to overcome these problems.
Fantastic.
Okay, let's say for example,
This is the stuff that is priceless.
yeah, and it's every, and then I write it on, of course, and if sometimes Danny is coming with me.
Okay.
And it's very important from time to time that the head will be there and will be connected to that.
Right.
But anyway, in the afternoon of the same day, I always make a very interesting also call to him. And I go, stage by stage, and I explain to him everything. Why I gave this, why I gave that, what happened there. And he knows then what he needs to do with the unit.
Right.
Until 4 months later, and I want to see them better.
Okay. So, So you give them the homework, let them go.
Yeah.
Continue training. I'll see you in 3-4 months.
That's it. And
Very
of course, every check like that, I come with the things that I wrote with Danny.
Right.
So I know what happens before, and I see if they are better or if they do the same mistake twice, which is very bad.
So another question for you. All this attachment to the army would prevent you from working outside? I mean, would you work with civilians? If I say, for example, all these people watching you here today and more for sure want to go and train with you in Israel one day, can we organize a camp, a week of training with you? Can we do that?
No.
No? Don't say things like that. You're breaking my heart.
I tell you what, if you do have a very strong opening to your own army, the army of the British Her Majesty.
Yeah. Then let me call the Queen. Hello, Your Majesty. Yeah.
Then I'm sure that they will try to help you and to how to put it inside.
Right,
yes.
right. So, Yeah, the thing is,
Listen, Joe, I made my choice. My choice is working with the IDF, and that's it, you know?
okay. No, I respect that. Because
Yeah.
well, the fact that I'm saying this is because every time I met you, I left with a lot of information, a lot of tips, a lot of different ways and the mindset, not just the technical side, which was fantastic. The other one, I don't know if you remember, we in a little forest somewhere in Israel, there was a guy with a car, a police officer. What's his name? Nahum, I think it was Nahum. Nahum, yeah, he had a police car.
Nahum.
Yeah, and there was one of the Swedish guys, if I'm not mistaken, seeking the car, and then he pointed the gun to the other one outside. His arms were sticking out of the window, and the guy says, "Oh, how do you deal with this, Shachar?" And I remember you grabbing the gun with both hands and slamming his forearms over the door, which eventually made a hole in it was a bent on the whole thing. So everybody looked at one another like, "Wow, that is a way of disarming the guy with the gun." And the police officer wasn't very happy because the door was a massive bent, and he was a police car.
I remember this, but anyway, any time in Krav Maga when I have a piece of iron in my possession, it's the end of him.
It's the end of it.
And a weapon is a piece of iron.
Oh my God.
You know, listen, from time to time, I work on the fields. I stand on the ground and with my tractor,
right.
I work, you see the fist?
Yeah.
You see this area?
The knuckles, yeah.
Yes. So it's important for me to have it also. So if I have this one, and I do that, and I do that, and I do that.
You're always working on a power.
No, so then I'm sure that if somebody is making for me all this motion, not allowed, of course, in what Brazilian system of on the ground.
Oh, jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Yes. So if you do it to the throat.
Yeah. So you'll kill the guy.
Or you do it to the groin.
Yeah. You're gonna hurt him.
You can close all the clubs of BGG, right? Yes.
Yes, BGG.
But it's Krav Maga. That's it. These two motions.
That's
and
enough.
It's closed. Not can be.
Yeah, well, this is one of the things I try to explain to students sometimes, is that when we training, we are not training for competition. We are training for life and death scenario. Someone is trying to kill you, kill your family, and you have one chance of do something. Which kind of technique would you think you should be performing?
Yeah.
You know, a slap, a finger in the eye, a grab the throat. You know, it's that is the mindset.
When Imi was very young, very old, he changed the punch to the head, to the eyes. And nobody even come to listen to him anymore. It was only me and Shimon.
Really?
Yes. Nobody. They don't have time, and they need a leader.
Right.
We did not need a leader. We need the wisdom.
The knowledge, yes.
Yes, and he changed from that. One day we sit on him on a coffee, and he was changing from that, which is the motion of to the eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, like that.
Yeah, fingers to the eyes, yeah.
Yes, and you have to bend a little bit, so if it comes to the forehead,
it
goes like that and doesn't break you, and you do that because if he moves a little bit,
right,
and it changes to that.
It just bend a little bit. Boom.
This one, look.
Lift a little bit up, a little bit, hand up.
Together.
Right.
Together. And what happened, Imi? He says, it's too weak. Have to be together.
Okay.
And I said, this was Krav Maga for him. It's always changing.
Right.
Most of his years, the punch to the eyes was that. Most of his years.
Right.
From 10 years old until 99, it was this. Then it will become this.
It changed to something else.
Yes, that's why he didn't want to make some book, because it always changes. For me, it's good like that because my skin is so weak.
So yeah. And what about you? Are you planning to write a book about all this?
I have a book, but it's on the possession of Danny. I have pictures that he can do with it what he wants, because it is.
So now we need to bother Danny every day now then to get this book printed. No worries, live with me now.
I have drawings. I have a special drawer which was a reserve guy of the Krav Maga also. His name is Adi, and he is a very good sketcher.
Okay. The drawing.
Yes, like he's doing very good cartoons, like.
Right.
Anyway, in his, for example, a sidekick against a knife. So he was doing the first attack. He can do this motion, but with the fear. I asked him to do it with the fear in the eyes.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And then the other, I want to show the kick.
Okay.
So now I told him, make him a little bit more aggressive. So he have, you know, it's like Popeye, something like that.
Right. Okay. I get it.
And we have all these pictures. We have tons of material in a book
So
like this.
It was this guy that drew a little sketch with Emi, with Emi's face. Was it? Was that guy? Because I remember seeing in your, I think in your office, that a little sketch with Emi's face.
Two faces of Emi. One is his one. It was Emi older.
Yeah.
And one I have older. I mean, Emi was having rather big head.
Yes, I think that was the one. Yes.
No, but wait. But in the time, the bone are getting a bit smaller. Everyone.
Right. Okay.
So if you see a picture of Emi a little bit like a bit smaller head,
Yeah.
when he was old.
Okay.
In the young age, not young, but 45, for example, he was having a big head. So
Right.
when he was young, big head, and when he was
Older, the head shrinking.
yes. And there is also a caricature of Emi younger,
Right. Right.
with big hands like
Do
that.
you have many pictures and things like that from that time that people haven't seen it yet, or something that you can?
I can send you. Yes.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yes, in the WhatsApp.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
No problem. Listen, Joe, if you want me to give you another thing to think about, that's my opinion about all the Krav Maga exercises and stuff like that. The exercise, it's good to start to work.
Right.
But the main thing that you have to do is when he work on the exercise, he all the time or from time to time, and you have to make sure that it happens to him all the time.
Right. You mean the student practicing?
Meet a new stuff that he never did before.
Okay.
And this reaction is the essence of the Krav Maga lesson. Not the doing the exercise perfect.
Okay.
But with the exercise, when you know exercise of Krav Maga, you dare to go near area that you did not dare if you did not know the Krav Maga exercise.
Right.
Now, when you are in this area, you must have the attacker make some kind of surprises all the time, that you do exercise against things that you never did before.
Just to see the natural reaction.
Yes, and that's the lesson.
Right.
Because this will what happened in the real life.
Will teach you, yeah,
For sure.
natural behavior and how people
Yes.
think and how they react. Yeah.
And you must, as an instructor, you must see that you are giving your students maximum like that.
Wow.
Yes, that's your job. First to teach the exercise.
Yeah.
But the exercise is only the door to the area of the things that you never did before.
Okay, so you want to see what people will connect one exercise, another
Not
one.
to see. He need to have the same. He need to have. This is the training.
Right.
Not that it's not a choreography of a dance.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
You have to put him inside area that he did not do before. So changes all the time. It's must.
Yeah. Do you remember? I mean, of course you remember the Friday afternoon session at Gabi's place.
Don't be so sure.
Don't be so sure. No, but do you remember
about the remembrance?
Oh, okay. I'll remind you that. In 2002, when I was there training to become an instructor, I was training with Gabi Noah for a while. And then on a Friday, you guys used to meet. Some of you used to go there and meet and, next long session.
Yes.
Which used to be like a punch up and people trying to convince one another, a lot of sparring, a lot of pieces flying everywhere. Yeah. And one of the things that I always found amazing is that when they had a question about something, they will pick someone outside. You come here. What did you do? And I put a gun in your head, and the guy will sort of do things like that. Oh, thank you very much. You can go now. Which is now matches what you're saying. They will pick up someone who's had no idea about what they are talking about and see the natural reaction. Which one was it? And then continue building on their natural reaction, the exercise to avoid.
Many times happens to me when I was arguing with the guys that is coming from are coming from a different. I don't know. For example, you know Amnon Maor, for example.
No, not by name. No.
I'm a fly that rounds around us many times. So I remember one time he said, and he have exercise against pistol.
Okay.
Something that is coming from Oriental martial arts, of course, wrong.
Yeah.
What I did, I just asked from some officer from outside that he was passing. I didn't know him. Right. But I was sure that all I need is somebody that doesn't know anything, and he will do my job. And I put a pistol on him, and immediately he did the right exercise. And this one that was arguing, it was, he became white. Because he saw his all...
all the experience, all the years, the training.
Yes. What were I doing? He was having a little Imi moment, but Imi was welcoming it, and everybody else are feeling a problem about it.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Another question for you. If we could, by magic, bring Imi back today, and he have a look at what's happening with Krav Maga today, what do you think the reaction will be? He will be happy with that, a positive way, or he will go, what have you guys done? Come on. What will be the reaction?
I can tell you, I'm talking with him a lot, of course. And I have a lot of questions to him.
Right.
But when at the beginning of our meetings, I was preparing questions like a good soldier. I was head of Krav Maga, and I have the fortune to start to meet him.
Right.
At the beginning, I become with three questions. Most important, the second one, and the third one. That took me about half a year to understand that stop asking questions.
Right.
Just how are you? And talking about nothing, and listen to what he has to say about what he thinks that nowadays.
Wow.
Yes, and that's it. Let him talk again. That's it. For me, if I could talk with him in this way, that he can, he was in the days that I was meeting him.
Right.
But I have no problem, by the way, to stop any year of his life and to see how was he when he was 20.
Wow.
How was he when he was 30?
That must have been amazing.
Interesting. Huh? But I don't have any specific question because I know what I know.
Right, right.
And from the aspect of knowledge, I understand.
Right, okay.
What I need to understand, yes. But I would like to see, one question is about a kick to the groin. Why didn't he do two hands? Yes.
Right, okay. I have a question for you now then.
Yes.
Because I had many different answers there, but none of them actually convinced me much. The question is, when you defend against a stick attack, okay?
Yes.
We have the stabbing defense with the open hand, going up and all that.
Yes.
And then you have the defense against the kick to the groin, when people go with the fist.
Yes.
To do the stabbing defense.
Yes.
So someone asked the question, what's the difference between this, which I go with the open hand against a stick, and why would I go against a kick with a fist? Can I go against a kick like this, or can I go against a stick with a fist like this too?
So against the kick, we don't teach at all hand. We do only leg inside.
You're talking about the army.
Yes, knee inside.
Okay.
Or weapon.
Or with the rifle. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So you break his leg.
And against the stick, you're going to go with the rifle up, both hands up.
Of course.
But forget about the army. Let's talk about the civilian Krav Maga, the one you didn't like much. No.
I would show. Listen, before everything, you have to be sure that your hand is something that is very strong. I remember also Eyal was teaching us, the students. It was much before he was in northern kibbutz, because it was very close to Haifa. And in Haifa, there is a high university that he learned to be, I think he's electricity engineer.
He's an electrical engineer, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was close to there, and he was coming to Shimon to help him with the grade, and then Shimon offers him to make a little class.
Right.
We've been there 7 guys, nothing. He was very young, having an old BMW, driving like crazy, having fun of life. And it was different.
Fantastic time, yeah?
Yes, in these years, he did the defense a little bit differently.
Right.
Yes. So the fist and then or this one, it's the same for us. If you feel the need, I would say now, use this motion. I'm in a lesson now for guys that are going to fight in the territories, okay?
Right.
I say to them, do this, do this, do this, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Feel good with this area. Now somebody hold your stick like that. Start to do it. Start to do it the same. Start to do it.
Slide.
Yes. If I see somebody that is closing the fist, I will not fix him.
Okay.
That's it.
You're looking at the whole piece instead of just the detail of the hand or the fingers or whatever.
I look what he got.
Okay.
What he got inside him. Okay? If he feel the need and he have the coordination to make it fast, the close fist,
yeah.
So do it.
Fantastic.
But I would open it completely to his nature.
I understand.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
it's like Captain Hook. He have to decide what he wants, how he wants to fight this day. He want to switch to end with fist or end like that. You can switch.
I understand.
Yeah.
Wow. So how do you see, I mean, what is the with all this COVID-19, is it going to change anything in Israeli army? Are you guys changing anything specifically?
All the time.
But I mean, with this disease now, with this virus going around.
Yes, we have a special way of teaching on the air.
Right.
So Danny did, I think it was two months ago or 3, did a little movie of about 8 minutes of demonstrating how to instruct punches and kicks and weapon strikes, stuff like that. And even against forward arm choke.
Okay.
And they teach it 2 meters apart. That's it.
2 meters apart. Okay.
Yes. No work on couples, and everybody knows that it's only temporary.
Right.
The army is now starting to get to normal, so it's very close. Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad for you guys in Israel. It was okay. You guys managed to control it.
My exams, for example, so the units after basic training, they sent a video of the final lesson.
Right.
And we see it and we say to them, listen, a bit this and bit that. For example, if you want to work about the power of the punch.
Yeah.
So we say to them, listen, just walk forward. This will be a good sign for us that you are doing it strongly.
Right.
So go in the direction of the punch. Do a step with the direction of the punch. So if you hit right, make right step.
Okay.
right leg. That will show us that you have power in the punch.
Got it.
That's it.
So it's nice
It's
adapting,
enough.
overcoming. Okay.
Yep.
Guys, anyone would like to ask any questions? I guess this is the time now. We are getting to the end of our interview because we've been here for an hour almost now.
It's Ben, Adrian,
We
and
have a bunch of guys here. We have Ben, we have Adrian, there's Ansley, we have Anna.
hi guys. Sorry for boring you so much.
Oh, they have no idea how much this will cost them if they had to pay, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I will pay, no worries. What is that? They're asking here. Oh, Joel Bennett. Joel Bennett, it's Jewish, Krav Maga instructor, paramedic. He spent time.
Nobody's perfect.
No, yeah. I keep saying him that, exactly. Says, what are the origins of adding sparring into the training? Do you guys have any stage where sparring became part of the training, Krav Maga?
Like I told you before, my punch to the guys is this one.
Yeah.
But I like to challenge myself, and I make these nice white guys here.
Right.
Because I like to. I have good memories about straightforward fist punch.
I can imagine, but you have to understand, you're not the ordinary guy, huh? Because when people don't know you, how heavy, how big were you in the old good days? How many kilos?
Eyal was saying, listen, Shachar, it's not relevant for you, Krav Maga. Straight punch and that's it.
Exactly. Because we used to weigh like, what, 110 kilos more, but there was a pure muscle. You were like a power lifter.
That's why I never use to talk about my own experience because it's irrelevant.
Your experience will be, yeah.
Yes, my experience. I give somebody straight punch to the stomach and went. And 20 minutes after that, some of my soldier came to me running and said that, listen, Shachar, maybe you forget, but this guy is still choking them. So, but it's irrelevant. Yes, it's irrelevant because, you know. But Imi also, Imi in his life, we heard about a lot about what he did. Okay,
right.
I have a woman witness. I heard about her, how we dealt with a group of Nazis.
Right. Wow.
Yes, and he did not know that she saw him in those days. It was a surprise to him that she saw him. He never tells what he did.
Right.
It's irrelevant for Krav Maga. Krav Maga have his logic. And the logic is that you are using what is already there.
Right.
Don't use anything that you have to learn. For example, sidekick. Joe, how much time it's to teach sidekick?
Oh, it takes the rotation, even the roundhouse kick also sometimes.
Listen, it's 1 second. Take a stick.
What did I say? If I said it takes 5, you said it takes 1.
Take stick.
Right.
1 meter stick.
Yeah.
Tell somebody, listen, break him. Maybe you can give him a hint. Tell him break it with the leg. And maybe to make sure, make with your hand this motion.
Okay.
You see this motion?
The
yes.
Yeah.
He will make a perfect first kick in his life, side kick, including everything, including the correct watch, eye contact.
The looking over
including, yes, he will be looking like this. He will be lifting his hand a little bit because the hands are low and it's on his way.
Right.
He will be pulling his fingers of the leg backward.
Okay. The toes, yeah, okay.
Yes, and he will be and I can guarantee that.
Right.
And he will put his back of the leg,
right,
the direction of the hit.
Okay.
He will do perfect.
The side kick without the spinning of the other foot. Okay. Yeah, I know. I get it.
He will make it perfect.
Right.
It will save you a lot of time, but you have to bring a few sticks like that.
A lot of sticks, yeah. Another question for you. What would you teach, or how would you start teaching a completely beginner? What would be the very first thing you would teach somebody?
Attack.
Someone comes to you and says, like,
attack.
Attack.
Yes.
Really?
Be very good at attacks, Yes, because attack you have always. Defense you have sometimes.
Hold on. Let me write it down. You understand, people, what I'm talking about now? Attack you have all the time, defense not all the time. So
Yes.
This is a sentence that goes on a t-shirt now. Say that again. Attacks all the time, defenses sometimes. Yeah?
Sometimes, yes. If you can, you know this kicks against knife, yes?
Yeah.
Why do defense if you have kicks against knife?
Okay.
Or if you can use a chair, so you can attack with it.
True. Wow.
Everything, yes.
Let me just, I just had another sentence here. Coming
Also,
from you.
attacks are a little bit less natural than defense. Defense is really, really reflexive.
Right.
No.
Let me say something to you here. The original civilian curriculum for most of the organizations teach you a little bit of everything. Of course, based on the necessities you guys had in Israel, and still have these days. Circular knife attack and stuff like that, the 360.
The army in Israel is only upper attack now.
Just downwards. Okay, nice. So what I did, because people have trouble with the coordination, to punch and block at the same time is always this issue, which hand goes where. So we took away that first part. So what I asked the students to do on this belt here, as you can see here, white belt is P0, yellow belt P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, G, and then eventually the expert level right there. So we matched the color of the belt just to give people a target, a goal, and so on. But what I want to get to the point is, on the white belt, on the P0 level, they learn how to strike pretty much. They only kick, they punch, they learn how to get up from the floor. People, make a note. Now we're not going to teach anybody. We just shout, get up, get up, get up.
Yes. I recommend 3 shouts. It's better than 2.
No more than 3, no 4. Okay.
Yes. No, I never saw somebody that did not understand the idea. Just a second, it's my father.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
אבא, אני באמצע משהו, בסדר? אני אחזור אליך, ביי.
Oh, boy. Yeah. So 3 shouts is better than 2, and no more than 3.
No, it was my experience is that people are having, because they are shouting,
right.
So they have a difficult time to understand what you want, and
just get back up and go in quick.
For me, it's very interesting to watch him while I'm shouting at him. What happens to him? In the first time and the second time, but one strong one is enough.
It's enough. Okay. Wow. The question is, Imi, in his good days, the time you met him in the beginning, was he aggressive when he demonstrated techniques, or he was more the teacher, sort of?
Never demonstrated a technique. Never. He would understand. He would show you the problem, and he would let you start to struggle with it. Yes.
So he was the guy asking questions. How do you escape from this? Show me. Tell me the solution.
This is one of the things that I would like to ask him. What was the reason that he put a demonstration, explanation, and that's all structure of lesson? I think my suspect is that it has to done because it's the army way. About everything, but so many years ago, listen, when I did, now when I teach, I never show exercise.
Right, wow. Okay.
I come to somebody, let's say that this is a knife. I show you, this is a knife.
Yeah.
One to me, please. I take one. I say to him, defense. I urge him to do the defense, and it always 360.
Right.
It always never happens anything else.
Right.
I'm steering him.
Right.
Delicately, but and I show defense, and he do the defense. Now when I come close to him, now what about with the other hand?
Right.
Crush my nose, please.
Okay.
Crush my nose. And when he doesn't understand, I say, push up to my nose, please.
Push up to my nose, yes.
I show him, and I show him. And now, after I finish this, they all believe that they can do it also immediately.
Wow.
Because if I demonstrate, they say, what is relevant to me?
Wow.
This big guy knows what to do. What?
It's phenomenal that you guys try to take as little as possible in terms of time to teach as much as you can to a soldier to prepare him straight away.
Yes.
And on the civilian market, we spend like hours teaching the same technique, but then again, perhaps the level of attention is not there, or perhaps, I don't know, if it has anything to do with coordination, it has anything to do with people being too busy in their minds, but it's completely different.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Right, guys, anyone, would you like to ask any more questions? Because otherwise,
Joe, just a second.
Yeah, sure.
There is time that this is easier, a big lesson plan, very clear. It's sometimes good at the beginning.
Okay.
Better. Maybe you have to be open to in which time in his career is better for him to do which kind of lesson.
Right.
Don't be too swift about it.
Okay.
Because it's like shooting. You cannot argue one guy that shoot already 1,000 bullets.
Yeah.
Have a different opinion about shooting than one guy that have shot already 10,000 bullets.
Ah, okay.
They are different.
Yes.
In pistol, for example, at the beginning, you need to stand low, 2 legs parallel,
Yeah.
shoulders like this, straight arm.
Position, yeah.
But after 50,000 bullets, you don't need the legs. You don't need the shoulders. You don't need even to lock your elbow.
Really?
Just have some imaginary spot about here. You just have to put the pistol there and you're on the target.
Wow, okay.
And maybe after 100,000 bullets, even this you don't have to have anymore.
Right, okay.
Yes, you know about the samurai that they know how to hit from every direction, bow and arrow.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Many years ago, I had a student which had a problem with coordination. He was a white belt P0.
Don't teach him. He won't believe ever. He won't believe in a defense and offense 360. He won't be a good believer about that.
No, exactly. But the point was that he attended all the sessions. He dedicated himself, but he was still horrible. You know, the guy that trained for like 6 months, and at the end you look at him like, man, we need to start from zero again. So he was one of those guys. But then he went to, he attended a grading. He was at the grading. And then an Israeli came to grade him. And I was with Israeli. When this guy was asked to demonstrate a technique, a defense against the 360, whatever it was, I was expecting the Israeli punch me after that and say, who is this guy? How do you bring a student that doesn't know anything to the grading? Are you crazy? But then I didn't say anything. So when the attacker decided to attack, this guy shouted so loud that, and started punching, kicking, throwing everything he had in his hands at the guy. And then he took off and he ran away. I froze. I didn't know what to say. But what the Israeli looked at me and says, I like this guy. His mindset is very good. He passed the guy and he walked away. Yeah. So I don't know about this student because he stopped training, but I've learned a lot as an instructor from that exercise that day.
What you learn?
I learned that it's not just the perfect technique, the guy, the clean technique, but the mindset, the way he reacted. He was under stress. He was under a lot of stress at the time, and he did what he was supposed to do, and he solved the problem.
What is the purpose of the clean technique? It's for instructors.
Yeah, for instructors. Okay, yeah.
It's for instructors it makes them possible to teach students, but the purpose of the students is to start doing it.
Right.
It's not doing perfect technique. If you want to prepare somebody to the unknown,
right,
you just have to put him inside the room of the unknown. I'm not going to tell you which monster there is inside. Right. Now, after you open the door with the exercise, the exercise is only the opening to start to do it.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And in doing it, you are preparing him to the real situation.
Right.
But always, train not to make a perfect exercise, but train to be surprised all the time.
Fantastic. Wow.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
wow, wow, wow. So the question was pretty much half of my question, half of Thibaut's question here. So I guess he answered that one, Thibaut, isn't it? Wow. Okay. So
What about the one woman want to ask something?
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's pick one here. I've got one for you. Where's she gone? She's already left. She left the beauty already. Okay. So pick a beautiful girl here. It's called Adrian. Adrian, ask us a question. A beautiful girl called Adrian. Yeah.
So actually, I do have a question. Everything we've heard today is about how you take a basic recruit and teach them in a couple of hours how to defend themselves. Is there an evolution of Krav Maga within the IDF that goes beyond that, maybe for special units?
Depends on the special units, of course. Depends on of course, how many hours. For example, if you need to take some wanted guy, and he knows where is. Okay, you okay?
Yeah.
He knows, this guy knows where his friend parked his 20 tons lorry.
Wow.
Full of explosive in a house in Tel Aviv.
Fantastic.
Going to kill 500 people if you don't talk to him immediately. So you send some unit of killers, and you killed also 700 people.
Right.
Because they don't know how to catch somebody without harmless.
Right.
So of course there is units that know how to fetch this guy harmless to the interrogators, and it's very important to the for the interrogators to have him to get him harmless, because then you can press on him.
Right.
If he's already broken, so you cannot threat him in anything.
I understand. So he's a very specific, the Krav Maga training is very specific for what kind of a job they have to perform.
That's it. That's the sentence. That's it. Exactly like that. Very complicated material, but the basic one is how to attack strongly to every direction, how to overcome weapon snatch, how to overcome knife. That's the three things that is most important. And then you can teach everything on the ground of that.
Fantastic.
Of course.
Right. So thank you very much, Toda Rabah, with all your time, and this is a very, very inspiring and educational, as I would imagine. I'm sure everyone here, I mean, there's instructors from Scotland even watching this, and of course we're going to be sending this to other people so they can, have the opportunity to catch up and learn a little bit more. Because I keep saying to everybody is that sometimes just punching, kicking, you learn one side of it, but this kind of a talk, this kind of experience, that adds a lot of content to what we know already. Okay.
Okay,
so,
we will, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for that. And I hope to see you in Israel next time, because I was planning to ride my bicycle to Israel, but now I don't think it's going to happen now. But I'll do it as soon as I can.
Okay, Joe.
So,
bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you next time. Guys, appreciate it for that.
Bye.
See you soon.
You close Zoom.
I will close, yes.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.